This is the What's Neat Show, number 110 for March 21st, 2020. Man, we've got a whole table of great goodies and things to talk about.
Lots of
plus
colors.
New information on the NMRA Convention. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Is that concrete track?
That is concrete track.
Wow.
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Athearns Trains. Check out all their new monthly announcements at athearn.com. And by Intermountain Railway Company, where the detail makes the difference. Check out their website at intermountain-railway.com. And by the Gateway St. Louis 2020 NMRA. Meet me in St. Louis, July 12th through the 18th, 2020. For more information on this, check out their website at www.gateway2020.org. And by Renault's Euro Imports, full steam ahead since 1904. Check out their website at renaults.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at NCEDCC.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast.
Three, two, one.
This is the What's Neat This Week show / podcast, number 110 for March 21st, 2020. The best hobby in the world with some of the best people in it at the table around me this evening. I've got Mike Budde. I love saying it every time I get to, and he's brought some great vehicles for us to talk about tonight. I also have Campbell Rice that's going to update us on his layout. Now, his layout is currently running at the Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine website on YouTube in the What's Neat series that I produce every month, where you show us your layout literally within the first 5 days of you moving into that house.
Right.
And a lot more has happened and transpired since then, so we all have the privilege this evening to be able to watch that and see that tonight. I also have Bob Amsler from the NMRA Council, and he's here to talk about the website is up and running. Isn't that right?
That's right. For the convention, Gateway 2020, it's up and running.
Today was an awesome day, and we're going to talk about the Intermountain freight cars that you see me photographing in this clip, and you can see it up there, guys, on top. And this has been fantastic in that today, Saturday, has been the first sunny day that we have actually had since the last show. I have not been able to do any outdoor photo shoots, but Intermountain provided us with a lot of beautiful freight cars, and I took them out, and I brought a switchyard module out this afternoon to be able to shoot these freight cars on. And one thing that I think is really important to point out so that you can enter the NMRA photo contest when the convention is in St. Louis on the 12th through the 18th of July. Here's some photo tips. I use a DSLR Nikon D2X camera. And when I'm shooting these photographs, I'm shooting it at 1/4 of a second with my ASA set for 100. I know this sounds like camera gobbledygook, but it's very important to get your settings correct. What the ASA does is allows you to shoot the camera in broad full sun without any real distortion or any cloudiness in the photograph. As if you've set your ASA for 800 on your camera, you can shoot in literal darkness. It's amazing. But I'm shooting this at 100, and I use full sunlight. And I also, if you look here on this video, I'm probably using a reflector, because as I set up the shot for each freight car one at a time, and I'm using the background freight cars as props, I use a foam white reflector to fill out all the hard shadows in the photograph. This gives you a very even toned photograph with no hard shadows, which is very important if you want to win a contest and have a pleasing photograph. So I think I can end this clip right here with that. But the weather has been absolutely, like I said, fantastic here in St. Louis. Barge traffic is absolutely normal. I see a lot of transportation going on. Plus the river's up, things are rising. I noticed that today as the grass is getting greener in this clip while I'm outside shooting these, once again, these beautiful Intermountain freight cars that we're going to talk about later in the show individually. But the weather's fantastic, and I'm able to rail fan in my own backyard as you see the trains running up. What is this? What is that main line called?
That's the Chester sub for the Union Pacific, and that's a northbound heading into Depot Yard there now.
That's absolutely awesome.
So I can't believe you zoomed in that far to get
Yeah.
that. That is amazing.
3 miles away.
Yeah. Wow.
Exactly 3 miles away. Sound is delayed by 13 seconds. We had an engineer call us on the phone one time and tell us about that. That was kind of cool the way that worked. The Garden Railroad is getting a lot of work done, being as I am going to be strapped here at home after Monday and I can't leave the piece of property except for to go get groceries and other things like that. So it's kind of normal to me. I'm in my normal element and I'm going to be in the backyard working on the Garden Railroad. I need to restain this deck, which is, if you look at it, it's on a 10-foot radius curve, and it's an amazing deck that I built in order to propagate activity. The track laying process has all been getting laid out, where all the new ties are being laid into place now. I've pretty much replaced all of the ties and also rewired all of the feeder wires to the layout, and the cement is holding up pretty well this year, so I don't think I need to really worry about that. But the one segment that does need the most work is the bowl. I call it the bowl. This is a 10-foot radius curve, microengineering track all the way around. And if you'll remember, this is where I used to have a 33-foot long trestle that was 6 foot high, which I shot a lot of Bachmann ads on in various photography. Well, this area's got temporary bricks in place on it right now, holding up the track so I can simply run it through. I'm going to go to the Home Depot tomorrow and grab 5 bags of cement and eventually form it out with plywood and pour the cement and make a permanent road bed for the track to sit on top of. This alleviates grass growing through it, making it easier to weed eat around it, and in the event that deer do step on it, it doesn't damage the track because you've got a solid subsurface with the track sitting on. So I'm looking forward to getting those projects done this week. So I'm going to go to Campbell Rice now, and Campbell, tell me, what have you been working on?
Well, same as you. I guess I've kind of been locked in my basement, so I've kind of been trying to work on my layout as well, and I kind of take segments. I decide I want to work on laying track for a while, or then I decide that I want to
Do some
do some
scenery.
scenery.
Yeah.
Now, you've provided us with some video. This is Campbell Rice's layout.
So here I have a Union Pacific intermodal that is crossing my downtown section, and this is actually going into my yard, and so that's a double track area with the Walther's double track steel bridge, and downtown's going to be on the other side. So I was trying to figure out a way to not block all the road crossings through town, so I decided to elevate the main line up through there. So
That came out really good.
yeah, that was my thinking on that. And
You just made a video for What's Neat on how to make your roads. Your roads look good.
well, thank you. Yeah, I do several techniques, and you guys will get to see that coming out here soon, and the different ways that you can do roads. And so I'll just take different sections and get excited and say, okay, let's do scenery for a while. So I'll do scenery. But if you could see the whole picture, you could see that it's
What's
not
this
really
next clip
completed.
that we're looking at right here?
So this clip here, this is a local switch job that is moving a couple gondolas around.
And you're using flat buildings?
I'm using flat. Some of those I did get off the internet, but the two I believe they're listed there. The Teague Warehouse Hardware Company, it was in Mobile, Alabama, and then the Bass Pro Shop I shot in Kansas City, and scaled them back and printed them for the just to go on the wall to give it some, background look.
That's cool, man. What's coming up next on this?
The next shot here is just kind of an overview of my layout. This is a little island here with my industrial and switching area on it. I'm able to run 2 lines. The one closest to you is basically a short line branch that runs the industrial area and then also covers the granary.
That looks
And
good.
that runs off the main line. That railroad will be CNIC, and they will have trackage rights from the point there across the river bridge and through town into the yard. So as you can see, I've got some unfinished scenery here.
How many
And,
weeks into construction are you on this now?
well, let's see. I started it in about September, I guess.
That's quick.
So
Yeah.
that's to where I'm at now. I'm working on my yard there, getting all my track done, and I don't like to stick with one thing and do it complete. I know a lot of people like, okay, my goal is to get the track and put down. And I'll eventually get burnt out on it, and I'll decide I want to do something else. So, for example, this week I happened to be at the computer, and Ron Marsh of Ron's Trains and Things was doing a thing on wiring. So I said, I'm going to go up and do some wiring. So last night I did some wiring, and Jason Jensen with Jason Jensen Train was talking about painting ties. So that's always a fun project. It's really delicate, and you can really get bored, but it's the details that really matter. And believe me, when you start painting those rails and ties, and it just totally makes a difference.
It's the little
Sure
details
does.
that make all the difference
Absolutely.
in the world, doesn't it?
Yep. Yes, it does. So,
Bob, tell me, what do you got going on? Welcome to the show tonight.
All right, well, you asked me to bring something by, so I brought a Missouri Pacific Mikado. It is an MK63. It's a light mic. The MO-Pac got 15 of those from the USRA, and then when the Pennsylvania decided they weren't going to take their USRA engines, the MO-Pac got 10 of the Pensies. So there were 25 of those, and it's a very nice brass import, and I think it captures the look of the second purchase group that the MO-Pac made back right after World War I.
That's awesome. Now tell me, what's your passion for the Missouri Pacific?
Well, I'm not sure what really got me onto the Missouri Pacific. It could be that my grandfather worked on the railroad, and one of my cousins did too. And it was here and easy to see back when I was growing up, although it was diesel.
Right.
And I've kind of settled into the steam era, 1944 to be specific. So I'm on the steam era freight cars and their website, looking at things like that. And I find it very interesting. The machines, to me at least, it seems like they have more. They have more life.
More mechanical.
Yeah, more things are moving,
Right.
and I just like that. And I'm also reading a good book, American Steam Locomotives by Withun, and that is amazing to see how they design these and how the designs progressed and everything. So, yeah I love it.
Fantastic.
That's really interesting, modeling an era like that you didn't live through. I model 78 because that's the era I remember really well, and it's unusual to get somebody that's relatively young that models the steam era.
Yeah, I just love it. I obviously never seen it. Makes it a little harder to model. I have to go searching for the answers a little bit more. But the other thing is I love operations, and that would be timetable and train order era, and that is fun. And
So you like operating. I bet you like last week's show when we talked about operations. John Schindler knew his stuff.
Yes, he does. He's very smart, and he does a lot of operating on different layouts around the country.
There was a lot of talk about setting up trains before the show or before the operating session. He said it would take him up to 6 hours to set up trains. And then what they're doing is they're assembling the trains in the various parts of the layout, and then eventually the train runs to the yard. It seems like it gets broken up into the yard. The yard master might make up a freight train that runs around the layout. But one thing that Mike Budde and myself have done, I've done this my whole life, Mike, is where I've always run and modeled for the run-by effect. And that's one thing to say, the run-by effect per location. But there's also another thing that we didn't talk about last week that I thought I wanted to bring up tonight is when I create a consist of a train, I'm focused on the motive power, I'm focused on the freight cars, all the way through front to back, everything being the correct era down to literally a day or a month for that consist.
Right.
So what is it? What are these yellow stripes called that they put on freight cars?
reflective stripes.
Reflective stripes.
Reflective DOT striping. Yeah.
Right. That started about, 2006, 2007. So there may be trains that you model that have those stripes on them where now once those stripes appear, you're at a certain era. So that whole train has got to have the right Santa Fe locomotive numbers. I think Santa Fe was gone then. BNSF locomotive numbers, consisting, everything else. When we work with the Midwest Valley Modelers layout, as you recall, I modeled the Amtrak California Zephyr. All brass coaches. I think it was Pacific Fast Mail Power, 3 locomotives to pull this train, but it was absolutely specific to that era. Also, another train I did was, and I remember this specifically in my mind, were the Santa Fe wide cabs when they first came out in the Warbonnet paint scheme. And I modeled a pig train to run behind that.
Yeah.
And all the containers that I viewed here and there in town in different parts of the country all had to match the reporting marks, the colors, the type of companies that even ran during the 1991 era in that time frame for the train I modeled. So when I talk about modeling prototype locations for the run-by effect, it's also important that the various trains that go through the scene from tail to end are exactly prototypically correct for the consist. It's not bad where you can model different trains. The 1969 pig train that I
Right,
modeled with the
right.
Santa Fe F-45s pulling it. How beautiful is that? But that is a specific era train for a day. It's even got a red caboose on it.
Yeah.
So it's another part of, I don't want to say operation, but it's how we model.
Right.
You do a power plant, or you do a train for the auto rack
Right.
industry, and you've literally got the box cars, the either empty or full racks that hold frames. You've described how you model a specific train from start to finish, back to end,
Right.
for literally a second date, right?
Yeah.
A certain date.
Right. And then another thing, for my particular era, 1978 is when the wheel inspection dots came out, March of 78. They were starting to use the consolidated loop stencils a lot more, and there were a lot of cars still running around with ACI labels. So those are three other things that can really date your railroad. So
That is amazing.
anyway.
Anyway, that's all on that story. Bob, now you had some information. We know that the internet website is up and running for the NMRA. Do you have anything else to add about that?
Yes, the Gateway 2020 website, we've gone live now. You can buy tours, you can buy all that stuff, and we just want people to know that at this time we're moving forward with the convention. We understand what's going on around us, but at this time we have no plans on canceling it, and we're going to go ahead with it. So visit our website, see all the things we have. I know I've talked about the some of the layouts and some of the prototype industries we have lined up. They're all still going. Nobody's called us to tell us we can't come. So at this point, we're moving full steam ahead with the convention.
That's fantastic. I know I'm on the layout tour on Thursday, so on Thursday that week, y'all can get on a bus and come on out here and visit. Look forward to having you out here on the bluff, guys. From Athearn tonight, they have us talking about their wonderful SD60M locomotives that are coming out, and Chris Palomera sent me 5 beautiful photographs tonight, and I don't need to bring them up on the computer. I've got them printed on a piece of paper the old-fashioned way. We'd like to thank Paul Wester for these photographs. These are photographs come from the Paul Wester collection, and the first photograph is this beautiful Union Pacific SD70M. This is in Milford, Utah, number 6250. And if you look, it's got the 3 window panes on the front. That's the characteristic of these, the triclops. That's right, Campbell. The next locomotive I've got to show off that Chris sent me a photograph is this BN locomotive, number 9200, photographed in Lincoln, Nebraska. This is also a photograph from the Paul Wester collection. I got a BNSF shot here, and it looks like it's in the swoosh with the 3 windows in the front. I mean, this is cool, man. This is in Fredley, New Mexico. BNSF number 9206, and Paul Wester again shot that photograph. Thank you very much. Also, thank you for Ed Kanka. Did I get that right?
I can't see. Yeah, Canick.
Thank you, Ed Canick, for supplying Athearn with these slides. All you wonderful modelers out there that help the model companies produce models with your images, I mean, you're just helping the family. Thank you so much for doing that. Another photograph we got is the CP unit, number 6258, shot in Bredenberry, SK.
Man, he got around.
I know, right? This is also from the Paul Wester
Wester,
collection.
dang.
And this is another paint scheme that Athearn is going to be doing. You guys can check all these out on the Athearn Trains website. The last one I've got, and I'm going to get it right, NS.
Hey, you did it this time. After 3 weeks.
Yeah.
NS number 6314. I love that black paint scheme. It's gorgeous. This was shot in Griffin, Georgia. And this is also a photograph that Gary Lamar gave to Athearn to use, and this is also from the Paul Wester collection.
Man.
So that's a lot of great photographs. It's awesome that those guys got out there and shot these when they
Right.
did, because you can't go photograph these anymore
Yes, you
nowadays.
can.
Yep.
Actually,
Museums?
well, no, there
Rebuilds?
is some Triclops running around here in St. Louis on some local stuff.
How about that?
Yeah.
These engines come with a Sugar Cube speaker system, which gives you more deep bass to the sound. They've got the roofs that lift off that are held on by magnets, so you can put a full crew in the locomotive if you so choose. And they also have full LED lighting, so no more worrying about lights burning out. These lights are going to last a long time. Check them all out at athearntrains.com, guys. That's a lot of cool stuff. Mike, tell me about the vehicles you brought tonight.
So first I wanted to give a shout out to Frank Childress. He's got a little model train store over in O'Fallon, Illinois, and he's known as Hustle Dude Model Trains on the internet. But he was the only guy that I could get the Walters G85 flat cars from. I've been trying to get those things for months, and I even tried to pre-order them, and they were always sold out when I tried to pre-order them. But he had a couple of them, and so anyway, I'll bring those. I'm going to weather those, and I'll bring those next time we get together. But yeah, as far as the vehicles go, Bob Johnson again from Masterbuilt Models. He's a River Point Station dealer, and he sent me a bunch of accessories and a few vehicles. And River Point's mainly known for their Ford trucks and SUVs like your Expedition, but I think they're supposed to come out with some vans and utility vehicles too. But what they have so far is, I'm not really a modern modeler, so I haven't really paid that much attention to River Point Station, but man, their stuff is really detailed.
Yeah.
I mean, totally. It's better than like a Burkina model or a Neo or something. It's just really amazingly detailed. And all the different grills they have and stuff, the different body styles. They got crew cabs, extended cabs. But I didn't know they had all this detail stuff too. Over on the left there's a whole welding outfit with the welding tanks and the generator and a photo etched set of gauges and the welding torch and everything. I mean, that's pretty cool. And then they sell their bucket lift buckets and cranes, side-mounted cranes separately too. They sell all kinds of separate parts, which I didn't know before.
Are those plastic or metal?
Plastic.
Okay.
It's all plastic.
They're very good quality. I thought they were metal.
And the some toolboxes, and I mean they've got a lot of coolers, winches, and bed caps. Like they have a utility cap there, and then like almost like a 70s style camper shell that I put on the back of that Atlas Ford truck there. It fits really well, looks really nice.
I like
That's a real 70s looking truck.
Yep.
And then of course I had to do a couple bell trucks using the River Point Station utility beds with the buckets and stuff, and I added my own touches to it and painted them the way the trucks were that we worked with at work. So anyway, I'm really impressed with what they have, and I know I'll be getting stuff that, of course, they have wheels. Everybody knows they have wheels and tires, but they have a whole bunch of detail parts, which I had no idea they had.
That's cool. Man, I love River Point Station models.
Yeah.
I have a collection of so many of those pickup trucks. I shot them over there on the wharf scene one time because I was so proud of them. I lined them up. Every time I do a photo shoot outside and I want to add absolute credibility to the photograph and the vehicle matches the era of the locomotives, I use those vehicles.
Yeah.
So rock and roll. Thank you, River Point Station. We love you guys and can't wait to see what you're coming out with next. They're always coming out with new models. You know, on the table tonight, we've got some beautiful Intermountain cars wrapped all the way around the front of us right here, starting with this beautiful ADM freight car. These are 4785 PS2 covered hoppers. And, I mean, they're just absolutely exquisite. I shot them, like I said, out into the sunlight this afternoon. The second one I've got is this Montfort feedlots from Greeley, Colorado. How about that? Beautiful yellow. The sunlight really picked this one up outside with black ends. And one thing I noticed is the detail on some of these super detailed freight cars just like these. I noticed that on John Schindler's layout, where when they were operating, it was pleasant to see a very detailed freight car go by. It just added to the realism of the operating session.
All right.
The what is this loud? It's called
TLDX Transport Leasing.
Yes, TLDX Transport Leasing freight car, also in yellow. It looked really good out in the sunlight today. And now there's these Penn Central cars that I know, Mike, you really like those.
Oh, I do.
I'm going to start with the white one here. This is beautiful from Intermountain. The roof walk is all see-through metal, all the metal work on the ends. But look at the paint work on this.
I guess that's is that a New York Central car painted out or what?
I don't know the answer. It's called the Green Patch paint scheme here on the box. Penn Central Green Patch. And the other one I've got is
That's a
the repaint,
Right.
the Penn Central repaint, where they modernized it with that favorite color that you like to
I
fade.
love that. Yeah.
I know, number 88-690-24 here, Penn Central PC, and metal roof walks, metal details on the end, and all the piping that you see going to all the brake gear underneath. It's just
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful.
Show it. Yes.
In fact, here's a picture that Scott Nauert shot this
Right.
week in St. Louis of one of those type of cars. It's a Penn Central with the reporting marks of RFMX now, but still be able to see that in the Penn Central colors.
Amazing.
How cool.
Man,
that?
I kind of want to get this Penn Central car, even though I model the modern
No, you
times.
can.
You
can
know,
with
now
that.
I can get
Yeah.
it and weather it up like that. So
Right.
it's starting to look favorable for me. I may have to try that.
So check them out on the Intermountain website. And I put the stack trains out on the table. These are the stacked cars that Intermountain had sent us about maybe 6 weeks ago. And the reason I put them out is because I've been running these on the layout, and they are not top heavy. They do not wobble. They roll true, and they look really good going into my super elevated curves. So I really love these cars. That's why I put them out, because I just wanted to talk about something colorful and nice.
Well, how about those containers that
Yeah,
Campbell brought?
What do you got
pink
there,
ones.
Campbell?
Those I've had those in order. I think about 4 or 5 months. But Atlas has finally come out with some pink Ocean Network Express container cars. I guess probably they're the first ones to come out. And I had gotten some decals from Circus City and painted up my own. But those are the ones that Atlas has come out with, and they'll add a lot of color to
Yeah,
your
boy,
railroad.
we really got some color here
So
tonight.
There is some
we have
color
an
here.
abundance of color here
Yeah.
today.
It's
so.
a happy show, and that's the way it ought to be, because everybody comes and watches the show so they can escape the real world, just have fun with model railroaders that are just like you guys, and we're all hanging out in the basements.
Yeah.
But check out these beautiful hopper cars from Intermountain, the 4785s. You can look them up on their website at intermountainrailway.com or find them at your favorite hobby dealer or hobby shop. Now,
So- Tell me about this track up here. I've been dying to know what's
Yeah.
going on here.
This is from Ray Plashewski up in Chicago at Renault's. Hats off. Hello, Ray. Hello, Brittany and Roman. We hope you guys are all safe and doing well. But this is a brand new line of track, and you were going to tell me what the track name is called.
Tilligbahn.
Right.
Tilligbahn.
Tilligbahn, Tilligbahn track. And this track is super detailed. These switches are actually flexible. I think I'm looking at a number 10 right here. The switch points themselves are not hinged. They're solid trackage from the frog
Just
all
like
the
on
way
a real
through,
railroad.
just like the prototype. So no, and these are DCC friendly. And like I said, you can flex them a little bit and bend them in the event that you
That's
want a
really
bit of a
cool.
curve to your turnout, similar to what you do when you handle your track. We got a double crossover on the table. We've got dual gauge, narrow gauge, standard gauge track, and dual gauge here. And the one thing that they pointed out to me is the HO scale track also comes pre-weathered. All the ties have got all the detail of the woodwork on them and the hardware that holds the track into place.
Yeah.
And check out how flexible this is. It's true
Check
flex
how
track.
flexible this track is.
I know, right?
Dang.
I mean,
Right?
okay, wow.
Just to
It's
give you
for
an idea.
Street track. It's,
I mean, my goodness.
This is code
that's
83 rail.
amazing.
We measured
this
the
is
rail.
code 83, yeah.
Yes. So there's a lot of advantages to this, even up to the point where there's a soldering point for the frog so that you can make the frog independent, and it's got a spot on it where you can just solder your wire right to it for you guys that use switch machines that then reverse the polarity in the frogs for you automatically. It's kind of a really neat set of track that he's provided us with. Check it out on their website at Renaults.com. I'll put that right here at the bottom of the screen. A lot of neat stuff. All of this is just absolutely beautiful track, pre-weathered, super detailed with all the hardware on it. I wish Dave Davis was here, because
Yeah.
Dave Davis would be talking further about,
Yeah.
you know,
Anybody that wants to model true switch, true accurate switches, this is the one to have.
So this is definitely worth checking out, guys, in the event that you're working on a new section of your layout and want new track. Check it out at Renaults.com. I don't know where to go any further after that. That was the Renaults spot. And we wish everybody the luck in Chicago. I'm not going to Chicago. I was supposed to go up there this week, in fact, and we were going to also see AccuRail while I was up there, and Renault's, but I'm not going to be doing any traveling this week. I'm hunkering down, working on the Garden Railroad. So rock and roll, that's not a bad thing either.
It's more remarkably, but they're only about a block away from each other.
Really?
Now, Renault's is on one side of the track, and AccuRail's
You
on
were
the other side of the
there.
track. Yes,
You
I've been
were there.
I've been there.
Did you take any pictures when you were up there?
I sure did. Took a lot of video.
Well, then I'm probably showing some of it already.
No, because I lost the disc.
You did? All right, no B-roll for that discussion. Bummer. I know, right? All the guys at NCE are still working. They're working hard. The NCE Power Systems are shipping out. We got both the Pro Cab and the Power Cab. I wish Daniel was here because he loves that Power Cab. I personally really like the Pro Cab. It's what I use to run my layout, and I have not found where I can run like 10 engines, and it just does not overheat. The circuit breaker system's magnificent. It all works, whether you like the big throttle or the smaller one with the potentiometer on it. Both of them work great. If you're looking to purchase an DCC system, it's the only way to go. I can tell you that because it works for us every time. And we're going to get you one of those, man. We got to get you friendly with NCE so that you understand it. I think that might be the end, guys. I'm getting anything else to talk about that you can think of?
No.
Mikey?
Not really. Just everybody stay healthy out there. We make light of having fun staying in the basement, but I know it's a real hardship for a lot of people, and we shouldn't joke about it.
No, the rules are 10 people and under, I think is what it is right now. And as of Monday, I think we're getting locked down. So when this show comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Missouri's still going to be under the rules that we've heard from the government.
Which is basically nothing.
Well, you can go to work still. They're not keeping you from that.
Yeah.
So you can go to work.
I think we're the only state where they haven't shut the schools down yet.
Yeah.
Well, the one good thing is we've got the technology, so we will continue to broadcast the What's Neat This Week podcast every week. We'll bring in the folks on Skype. We might record the show through the week and edit the pieces together, but we're always going to be here for you. Check us out at our Facebook page, What's Neat This Week Facebook page. Add anything that you want or your comments or any other photographs of your layout, you're welcome. Also hit subscribe on YouTube so that when we come out with various new videos, you can understand and see what they are right away and get notification. We're starting a new segment for the manufacturers out there where we're going to create videos of some of their product, and we're going to call it What's Neat in the Box, so that we can create videos for the manufacturers to put in their social media, put it on their website. They can use it any way they want once the 10 or 12-minute video is created. So look forward to that, and some of those videos, some of the really cool ones of products that I like, we're going to put them on our YouTube site. So that's why you want to hit subscribe, so you get notification through the week as we come out with new material.
Another reason you should really hit subscribe is when these manufacturers look at our site, and the one thing they look at is how many YouTube subscribers that you have. So as many YouTube subscribers that we can get on our site, it just helps us get more product and have more products to review. So please be sure to click that like button and that thumbs up. It just helps us out.
That's awesome, guys. I couldn't have said it any better. With that, gentlemen, let's go run some trains.
All right.
Huh? All right, kid, we got a show.
Sounds good.
Now everybody's got to unclip their mics very carefully.